Oh my. Well, see one popping in. It is getting warmer. She knows. Angel is not here. Oh, good morning, Howling Dog Ranch. Howling Dog Ranch, Amanda Eater. Hello, how are you? Welcome. I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday afternoon. Finally, we're getting a little bit warmer weather. It's supposed to be upper 50s here today. And as soon as I'm done the live stream, I am going to be going out with a chainsaw and cutting down trees. Isn't it wonderful to have nice weather? No rain. We have a little bit of wind, so I probably will not be burning. I burned a little bit yesterday. We're not really supposed to be burning anything, but I have a small controlled area that I break things up and burn in that. It's very controlled. So, but today there will be no burning. There will only be cutting down trees and cleaning it up, cutting up branches and breaking up the trees in smaller pieces and stacking them up. Just a lot of boring grunt type work today. We are in northern eastern California. Wow, well, it's supposed to be always nice there, isn't it? I am in southeastern Kentucky, and I'm good with that. I've had my share of snow, and I don't want to be too far south because I can't stand the heat. So, but, northern Cal, okay. Yeah, it's like California's a long, narrow, well, it's not real narrow. It's not as narrow as Delaware. Delaware is pretty narrow. But, yeah, but it's a long state. There was talk at one point of dividing California into 2 or 3 different states. But you know what? There was at one time they were talking about dividing New Jersey into 2 states too, and it never happened. It probably will never happen to California either. They can talk about it, I guess. Makes for interesting conversation. Do you get a cold up there? Okay, I guess that. Do you get any snow? Well, I guess Washington State and Oregon, they get snow, so I guess Northern California would too, wouldn't they? They're not that far. Makes sense. Okay. I can do without the snow. I'm perfectly happy without the snow. Hello, Anna Ruth. 48 degrees in Ohio. Oh, we're a little bit south of you. And so we are supposed to get up into upper 50s today. I'm good with that. I'm good with that totally. I still have some seeding left to do. Okay. I've been using a hand seeder. You crank it. It's got a bag on it, and you fill the bag with seed, and you walk around and you turn the crank, and it's supposed to spread all the seed around. So I've been seeding pasture with that. I've got what do I have? I have rye, which I was told that yes, it will die off once it gets too hot. It'll die off. But it'll give me something for the horses to graze on until the warmer weather hits in. So I'm seeding rye and orchard grass and clover. Oh, hi, Tinker's wife. At church. Oh, well, don't let me interrupt your church service. Thank you for popping in. Becky, I'm doing okay. Nice to see you. Need to call me, Becky, because I was going to call you back and I couldn't remember which number was yours. So at some point you have to give me a call. I'm going to be going out and cutting some trees down when I'm done with the live stream. But at some point you have to give me a call. Are you still looking to get goats, Becky? As it seems to me you had some interesting stuff going on. Okay, good. Okay, what has been going on besides cutting trees and seeding pasture? And did you catch the video of Luna? I mentioned on that video about how Honey, don't mind me, I got an itchy nose. Been sneezing all morning. Honey was chasing her really bad. Diesel was chasing her. Well, this morning they were all out there and they were grazing fairly close to each other. So Luna has really settled in very well. She's definitely young and she needs to learn her manners. But that'll come. Honey needs to stay. Still chase her a little bit, but she needs that little bit of chasing just because she needs to learn. You know, there's certain things that you just don't do in polite horse society. Okay, so, but she'll get there. But she has definitely settled in. And let me see here. But it will be next year before we are going to be able to afford to get goats. Yeah, they are an investment, especially if you're going to get good breeding stock. Are you looking to get meat goats or dairy goats? If you don't care about the breed, sometimes you can find a herd that's being liquidated. You know, sometimes people want to get out of goats. You know, somebody not that long ago had a herd of fainting goats, I believe I saw. Dairy, okay. Yeah, I know somebody who's trying to sell a dairy goat, and I think she's in milk. So if you're ready, you just let me know. Of course, if he finds a buyer for it before then, who knows? But I don't know. I don't think that his wife is too anxious to get rid of her. Oh, hi, Trish. You made it. I'll tell you, Trish, Gracie is loving that heating pad. I see her some evenings go in there and just lay on it because we've had a few cold snaps, like you know. Yeah, that's okay. I kind of drag my feet early on because I know people don't know that I'm on it because I don't have a set time. You know, I just, with the way things are sometimes on Sundays, I can't really set an exact time because things come up all the time. And I have to go deal with them, you know, especially if you have livestock and whatnot. And things are still kind of chaotic here because we're not finished, you know. I don't have all my infrastructure in. I don't have the running water set up yet. That's still a work in progress. You know, all these things, it takes time and you got to work around these things. Even my fence is not 100% effective. Or it's not 100% permanent yet. So I mentioned in the title that I had another surprise this week. Luna came on Saturday, and see here, today's 23rd. It was the 19th. I go and I let the goats out, and there's Mama Goat and there's Sissy. Okay, now Mama Goat, she's the one. She was the mama of Sissy and the kid that was born on New Year's Day. Okay, so I call her Mama, And then there's Sissy. I call her Sissy because she's the sister, big sister of Mama's little boy. Well, I had been looking at Sissy for a while. It's like, okay, are you pregnant or are you not pregnant? And it's like, I thought she was starting to look a little wide, but not a lot wide. You know, I was like, okay, maybe if you are pregnant, maybe you're not too far along. The 19th, that morning, I let the goats out. I feed them in the morning when I go to give them their feed, then I open the gate and I let them out. Okay. Well, that morning, Sissy did not follow Mama like she usually does. She was going off by herself, heading up the hill towards the brush. And Mama was calling to her, and Sissy was like, she'd look back and it's like, and she'd walk away, and she'd look back, she'd walk away. Well, that's interesting. Now, why is she doing that? And I had other things I had to do. I went in after I got done feeding and everything. Then I come in, see what I do. My schedule is I have to drive the Amish in the morning to take them to work. And then I get back usually around 8 o'clock, sometimes a little bit later, but usually around 8-ish. So by the time I get everything done and, fit, the horses and the goats fed and hayed if they need hayed, and I let the goats out, not the goats, I mean the guineas out, and just taking care of everything. I'm usually in to take care of my needs around 9 o'clock. Okay. So that was that morning around 9 o'clock I came in. Okay. And I didn't think anything more about what was going on with the goats. So, about 10:30ish, I said, okay, I had everything done. I checked my emails, had my breakfast, had another cup of coffee. And about 10:30ish, I decided to go out. And okay, I see Mama and I see the little man. Where is the other goat? Where's Sissy? Okay, and Mama's kind of bleeding. Okay. And I think, okay. So I started, it looked like she was up by the driveway. So I started walking along the driveway to see what was going on. And I get up there, and there Sissy has a little brown bundle with her. I'll tell you, an hour and a half. It was no more than an hour and a half from the time I went in the house watching Sissy walking off in the opposite direction from her mother, and the time I came out and I noticed, something going on with the livestock, and I went and I investigated. That's what I do when I come out. I'm looking at the horses, I'm looking at the goats, I'm looking at the guineas. Okay, I have livestock. I'm looking at it. Okay, to see what's going on. And I get up there, and just an hour and a half, she had kidded, she had cleaned the baby, and the baby was standing and nursing in an hour and a half. It's like, that's just amazing that it happened that quickly. And this was her first kid ever. Yes, she had a single. She just had a single. But it's like, I was so thrilled that between Mama, okay, I'm not too surprised that Mama, had her little man, and she had him up and clean. She didn't have any problems because she's experienced, this is old hat to her having a kid. So that doesn't surprise me. Yeah, it's like, but this was the first time Mama. And it happened that quick, that easy, and she didn't need me. It's like, I was so thrilled that day. I sent Daniel Arms a thank you letter, a thank you email. I said, thank you so much. This is what's happened. They were so easy that, you're right. The Kikos, they are really easy, so I was so thrilled about it. So, now the one little problem that I have had is that because she was born outside the pen, she wasn't real good about getting back in the pen. I had to pick her up. I had to go get her and pick her up and bring her into the pen that night. But she didn't know, And then yesterday, she did not understand about going through a gate, and she ended up going through the electric fence. And the other goats were over here, and she was over there. And so I had to go and rescue her and try and get her back with her mama. And I was like, okay, obviously we have an issue with a goat that small with the electric fence. See, when mama had her little man, it was not a big deal because it was still quite cold, and I didn't have the big fence finished yet. So they were pretty much confined in that little pen. And because of the weather, they didn't venture outside the shelter. Okay. So he grew up a little bit inside that shelter before he had exposed to the electric fence. And when he, touched the electric fence, he got bit and he knew. Yep. Chasing the baby goats. So what I've done is, okay, I got to find something that I can put at least on the lower section of the fence that will not short the fence, but at the same time be a barrier for young kids. So I ordered some plastic netting, like similar to a snow fence, but this is green in color, and I'll be putting that along the bottom of the fence, just so that she doesn't get out again. Thankfully, it was the pen that she had gotten out of, and not the big pasture. So hopefully the pasture's big enough that hopefully she won't end up trying to get through the main fence until after I get that plastic up, and I'll put that between the metal post and the wire, so that it'll be like a barrier, not just a barrier to keep them in. It's not going to be real strong, but it'll be more of a visual barrier. They'll see it. They won't be able to get through it. And if they get bit by the electric fence, the only other place to go is the opposite direction. So that's in theory anyway. So we'll see how that works. That's supposed to be here on Tuesday. I couldn't get it any sooner. Well, thank you for stopping by, Howling Dog Ranch. Thank you very much. I'll tell you, the kids are so cute. And another thing, you can learn so much from just watching your animals. Okay. Like I said before, Mama is the mother and grandmother. Okay. And she has taken on the role of the leader of the herd. And if her son and her daughter, and now her granddaughter, I just let the cat out of the bag, didn't I? Yeah, I just let the cat out of the bag. Yeah. If they're not where she thinks they should be, if they're not following her, or if they're not, if they're out of sight, she will call to them. And at one point, when the youngest one was distressed, she reacted a lot faster than the mother did, than Sissy did. And yeah, I did, Trish. I did. I let the cat out of the bag. Yeah, now you know it's a doe. Okay, she's a little doeling, so she will be staying. So anyway, yeah, so it was really interesting. And it's like there's a difference in their call. Okay, there's the pitch is different, the urgency is different. And when she was calling for that baby, when the baby was in distress, you could tell that this is serious. Where is my grandbaby? Where is my grandbaby? You know? And it's like she was like there in a shot, you know? And Sissy's just like, oh, am I supposed to be running after the baby? You know? I mean, she's been a good mother in that, you know, she cleaned the baby up real good and she's been nursing her. She's been great that way. But being attentive to where the baby is and what the baby is doing, Mama has been more attentive to the baby than Sissy has been. So hopefully that's because this is Sissy's first. And hopefully she'll improve next year when she has more kids. Hopefully she'll have twins next year if everything works out well. So that is my surprise. So now I have a herd of 4 goats, 3 does and 1 buckling. Now what's going to happen with him is he's due to get banded this week. And I keep going back and forth as to whether I should keep him or sell him. Economically speaking, it would be better if I sold him. But that is still a hard decision, you know. I've got a month before I have to make that final decision. But regardless, he has to be banded by next week. So, so that's the exciting news. So hopefully there will be a video. I did get some video of the baby, and you'll be able to see what she looks like. She looks a lot like her mother. A little lighter in color. Don't call for a vote because you know how that I will go. Yeah, I know. Everybody wants to keep the babies. But the thing is with babies, they grow up. That's the thing with babies. If they'd stay babies, you know, but then I guess it wouldn't be quite so easy to get rid of them, would it? Yeah, well, I don't know how. I really don't have too much else to share with you right now because, well, the weather has not been cooperating, so I'm really like not doing a whole lot of projects. I got there's things I need to do, but I have to get the seeding done because that has to be done this week. Actually, it should be done today because we have another deep freeze coming in. I hate when that happens. I know. I wish we could keep them younger longer, and that's another thing with these Kiko goats is they grow up so fast. You know, they're weaned at 3 months of age, and it's like, where'd the time go? And you should see how big the little boy is getting. I mean, he is really getting up there. He can jump on his mama's back now. I mean, for heaven's sake, he's a big boy. Yes, the weather is beautiful today. There's a bit of a breeze. So what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going over and I'm cutting trees down across the creek. So I can fence that pasture in and be able to let the horses in there and hopefully the goats too at some point. But that'll be a couple of weeks away at least because I got to let the seed germinate and grow before I can let the horses in there to do any kind of grazing. But hopefully once I get that done and they can go over there, that's going to help me reduce the amount of hay that I need to get for the horses, because the ideal thing is to have them grazing. The goats, that I should be able to cut back on their grazing pretty soon once all the leaves and everything start popping because they're more browsers. So yeah, they eat some grass, and if it's chest high, they'll eat the tall grass. But ideally you want to browse, and that's what they're doing. There's only a little bit of green popping out right now, but they are still browsing. They're finding something to eat. So that's good. They eat that, and I'm still giving them hay. I'm offering them hay and grain, a little bit of grain. But, you know, the more they browse, the better it is for them, the better it is for my wallet. Just all the way around. It's healthier for them too. So that's the plan. I've got some brush over across the creek, but I seem to have more brush over on this side. And also, I want to be able to fence off behind the cabin. I've got a lot of brush up there, but that will probably be done. I don't know if I get to that this summer or not. It'd be nice if I could, but because there will be really a lot of brush up there this summer. But it's just a matter of how the fencing budget is, because the goat barn has to go up, and that where the goat barn will be, that area will be fenced in with wire fence, hard wire fence. Okay, not electric. I mean, there will be electric on it, mainly as for an educational tool and also as an added barrier for predators, which thankfully we have not had a lot of predators. Yeah, my husband and my son did see a bobcat across the road a couple of days ago. But they're not a huge concern, maybe for newborn kids, but not for adult goats, not for the size goats I have anyway. And they would be a concern for like my birds. Yeah, right now I only have guineas, but hopefully in about a month or two, I'll be getting chicks and ducklings, Muscovy ducklings. So that depends on if I can get a coop built. So all these things, they're working. The weather is like, I'm watching the weather, and we've got rain coming in tonight into tomorrow. I'm not sure how heavy it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be a downpour. So that's going to be good. And then Tuesday's kind of iffy. Will the birds be for meat or eggs or both? Okay. The chickens are the primary use for the chickens will be eggs, but the breed that I'm getting is considered a dual purpose, so that any extra roosters, yeah, they'll be for meat. Any extra roosters. Because like I've said so many times before, you only need so much testosterone on a farm. Yeah, I do have a lot of animals, but that's what you do on a homestead, And I want, and gardening, yeah, that's got to get going too before too long. I'm not going to be having a huge garden this year. I'm hoping to be able to get something planted, tomatoes and green beans maybe. I'm looking forward to having the eggs. And the Muscovy ducks, they are, the reason for the Muscovy ducks is, one, fly control. Okay, they eat their weight in flying insects. So between flies and mosquitoes, anything like that, the bats are pretty good. We've got bats around, and they get whatever's flying up high. But they're at dusk, and I find the flies are not out so much at dusk. Mosquitoes are, but not flies. So I'm hoping the Muscovy ducks will get the flies that are flying around during the day. Because we had a terrible problem with horseflies last year. The horseflies are about as big as my thumb. They're huge, and they bite hard. So I'm hoping we can get that, the Muscovy ducks and the chickens will help with that problem. So there is fly control, also commercial. I can sell them. And the drakes get really big, and they are very tasty. Okay. And yes, I have every intention of butchering the Muscovy ducks. The drakes, that is, not so much the hens. I'll probably be more apt to sell those than butcher them. But the drakes, if you get too many drakes, you have a serious problem. They only have one thing on their mind, and they don't care how many go after a hen. They don't care. And I have seen Muscovy drakes, a gang of them, gang rape a hen and kill her. I've seen it. So no, we don't. And yes, if I could have gotten to them, but you just, so drakes, there will be a limited number of drakes on this property for sure. And the beautiful thing about Muscovies is that it is, honey, would you please let that fly for me? Yeah, right. Well, hopefully the Muscovies will take care of that. Yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, it's easy to tell the difference between a hen and a drake early on, so I can separate them out. And I can either sell them locally, I can take them to an auction, what have you. I just, say I got this many Muscovy drakes up for sale, and it'll be another source of income for the homestead. Okay. So a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there, and a little bit over here too, hoping to get, more things, bringing in some money and not taking so much money. The chickens will be free range mostly. They will have a coop to be locked up in at night, but they will be primarily free ranging. So between the chickens, the goats, and Muscovy ducks, and whatever else I do beyond that, I don't know if there's going to be any additional livestock. Considering one other thing, but I'm not sure about that yet. It all depends on how things go. But that will be pretty much the livestock, and of course the horses. Well, I just can't get away from the horses, can I? So yeah, right. I knew that's what you meant, Anna. So anyway, so yeah, so that's, I'm hoping to at least get tomatoes planted this year. Tomatoes and some green beans, because I like my green beans young. I don't like them when they're big and they got the big seeds in them. I like them young and tender. So I'm hoping I can get some green beans planted this year. I tell you, this spring seems to be just coming on us so quick this year. I've got daffodils up and already just about in bloom. Can you believe it already? It's not even the end of February. Well, it's near the end of February, but we still got another week to go. So, it's just crazy. I just have not been able to get a garden bed prepared for planting. So I'm hoping I can get something going this year. You can season those beans with garlic. Yes, I could. Except the thing is that a lot of my garlic got blown over and around when my tool shed blew over. And I just haven't had a chance to clean that up. And I don't know, I might be able to salvage some of the bulbs, but there is still some garlic growing. So I may have lost all that bounty that I harvested last year, but I still have some other growing that did not get harvested this past year. So maybe I'm not totally out. It's just, you do the best you can with what you got. And unfortunately, I had that little disaster, and I'm sorry, but the tools came first. I had to take care of the tools first. Pickled garlic. Ooh, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I've had they have the jars of pickled cauliflower, and oftentimes you see clove with garlic in that. I've had that. That's really good. Oh, well, I'm afraid those trees are not going to cut themselves down. So, believe me, I've asked, and they just flat out refuse to cut themselves down. So I'm afraid I have to go out there and carry my chainsaw over there and get to work. I got quite a bit down, but then you also have to clean it up and cut it up. And some of the bigger ones, they're like that big around. Okay. If they're at least that big around, I cut them off, and I'm saving them to see if I can't make use of them in post or something like that. So self-cutting trees. I know. Where was I thinking? Well, they were here before I was here, so I didn't have any choice in the matter, I guess. Yeah. So anyway, I guess that's pretty much it, everybody. I could talk all day. I talk a lot, don't I? But I really have to get to work while it's still warm out, and I still have some more seeding to do too. So I was seeding last night, and it got cold at one point. So I really do have to get moving. So I will talk to you all later, and I'll see you hopefully on a video this week. All right. Talk to you later, everybody.